Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's Employability Webinar. You are welcome to the event that is being organized by the American Spaces in Nigeria. We are so happy to host Mrs. Olayinka Fagbenro, who is the Chief Scientific Officer, Nigerian Space Agency. Today's event will discuss the topic, career opportunity in the space industry. And I know many of you have questions in your mind as to what this is all about. Are there opportunities in space industry? So we're going to get to know as we gather today. And let me assure you, the lady that we're going to be talking to has over 15 years of experience in the industry, and you'll be amazed at the kind of things she's been able to do within a short period. To read the bio for us, I have the director of the American Corner in Ikeja to please read the bio. Stephanie, over to you.
All right, thank you very much. Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone. And welcome to our amazing speaker. It's a pleasure to have everyone on the call. So please, everyone, allow me to introduce Olayinka Fagbenro. She is the Chief Scientific Officer at the Nigerian Space Agency, where she has worked for 15 years now. She currently heads the Space Education Outreach Unit of the agency. She's a member of the Planning, Policy and Research team of the Space Agency. She's also the founder and national coordinator of a STEM-based NGO called Astronomers Without Borders in Nigeria. Olayinka is a PhD candidate of Geoinformatics, Department of the African University of Science and Technology, AUST. She's also the National Astronomy Education Coordinator, Nigeria, for the Office of Astronomy for Education. Olayinka is a 2020-2021 Tech Women Fellow for Nigeria. Tech Women is an initiative of the U.S. Department of State's Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs. Now, as for Science, Technology, Engineering, Maths Advocate, she has been a part of several STEM projects, both locally and internationally. Her STEM NGO, AWB Nigeria, organizes astronomical-based events on regular basis. These events represent an unprecedented opportunity, STEM awareness, and support for STEM education programs. AWB Nigeria uses astronomy as a tool to inspire children and as a starting point for continuing STEM education in their schools. These activities aim to address different social and educational challenges in Nigeria. AWB's activities have addressed gender loopsidedness issues in school enrollment and STEM encouragement for children. The organization's scope also involves the development of school extracurricular that will drive STEM education in schools, teacher trainings, setting up of STEM astronomy club in schools, and other science-based outreaches. AWB has also been involved with bringing STEM education through astronomy to the less privileged in the society through programs with the children at the internally displaced people's IDP camps across Nigeria. Wow, very exciting bio. Look forward to the sessions. Daitai, over to you, sir.
Thank you very, very much for that wonderful introduction. And I would like you to please begin. Let's meet you. You know, we've read your bio, but it's always sweet when we hear the story from the storyteller herself. So could you tell us, what's your background like before you came to this position? How did you come about space industry? This is not a common field for several people, particularly for ladies. So tell us a little bit about your background.
Okay, thank you very much, Stephanie. Thank you, Mr. Itayo. And hello to everyone that is listening and watching from every part of the world, wherever you are joining us. My journey in this industry, this career started about 15 years ago. I always tell people, like, I'm one of those people that came into the space industry by accident. So when I was leaving high school, okay, we didn't even have a space agency in Nigeria at that time. And then when I proceeded to the university, I attended University of Ilorin. I studied computer science. And like many of my schoolmates, my classmates, we all wanted to, work in exciting places, because we know that with our computer science background, we could probably, practically fit into any organization, because, everyone was at that time, everybody was getting to be, every industry was getting to be more into IT and all of that. So while I started my master's program on at the OAU, Fagbemiro University, I stumbled upon an office, which I later realized to be a center of the Nigerian Space Agency. The Nigerian Space Agency started in 1999, by the way, and this was 2007. So, and then I went to that office, and then I spoke with a few people there, and I'm like, oh, wow, I love what you guys do here. And then it seems like a very exciting office, and I would like to work here. So I met with the head of the center, and he said, okay, well, that's good. You can, when next we are recruiting, we'll let you know. And then, but you have to have a first class or a 2-1, to be able to join us at that time. So I'm like, yeah, cool, I'm qualified. So we, I got invited for the interview, and then I wrote the exam, and the rest is, like they say, is history. So I would say that coming into the space agency by accident, like, I didn't set out to want to work in the space industry. I didn't even know about the space industry at the time. So it was a bit of an accidental thing. And then when I got to the organization and I started working there in 2007, I realized that I loved every bit of what was being done. The center I started from, because the Nigerian Space Agency has the headquarters in Abuja, where I am now since 2011, but I didn't quite start out at the headquarters. I started at a center which was on Fagbemiro University campus. So the agency has, different kind of mandates, and so I was opportuned to be assigned one of the mandates of the agency. So, and yeah, so that's how I started to be in the space industry. And over the years, I realized that, okay, the first shocker I got was the fact that there were the number of women at that time were so low that you could probably count all of the women who are in technical departments. Okay, so the space agency is multidisciplinary. The space agency all over the world, the space industry, that is how it is. You have all sort of people who can work in the space agency. I will probably still come to that in the course of my talk. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Stephanie.
All right, thank you very much for sharing all of that. Very amazing and interesting perspectives that you have shared. So the next question I have for you is talking again about the space industry, right? We know it's not even popular in Nigeria at all. No. Like, I think it's the first time I'm hearing that we have something that's, unique in this country. Like, I know we have NASA and all of that, but in Nigeria, I didn't even know that it existed, right? And so you've opened your eyes to see that it exists, and you work there, even in the technical department. So please share with us, right, your perspective. Do you agree that the space industry is not popular in Nigeria? if you do agree, what are your reasons? Why do you think, people don't know about this industry? Why do you think it's so unpopular? Like, people don't know it exists. And, what can we do to, start making people more enlightened that this actually exists and this is an industry that young people, young girls, even guys can go into this industry and work in this sector?
Okay, so thank you very much. So the interesting thing is, even right in Nigeria, every time I talk to people and they're like, oh, we have a space agency in Nigeria. And then I say, it's over 20 years, like, for crying out loud. The agency started in 1999. Okay, so the agency is over 20 years, 23 years this year. And that people don't know about the agency, it's really, really kind of worrisome for me. That was, I always find it very, it makes me feel like maybe we're not doing enough. But then when I look at what we are doing, because having been in the agency for 15 years, I can conveniently say I've moved through the ranks and I've seen, most things. And so I know that it's not because we're not doing enough as per the job we're doing, as per the innovations we're bringing, as per the developmental capabilities and all of that. But rather, I think in terms of awareness, I think that is where we have not done so well. Yes, I will agree. The space industry, the world over, is not, it's relatively new in so many places. In fact, the Nigerian Space Agency is the pioneer space agency in Africa. What this means is that Nigeria was the first to have a space agency in the whole of Africa. So that means every other space agency in Africa, and by the way, they are less than 15, came to be after Nigeria started. So I think as a continent too, we are not really doing so well. NASA, everybody knows about NASA. Let me say, almost everybody knows about NASA. And you will notice that the reason why people know about NASA, apart from, the researches they carry out and all of those things they put out there, another reason is because if you look at the movie industry, like I'm talking for Hollywood, you see a lot of movies are being made to make people, it's like they're trying to put it in the subconscious of an average movie lover that there is this agency that is doing this and that and all of that. So I think for Nigeria, we are not doing enough to create awareness. So if I want to go to the other aspect of the question, are we really doing so well as for the Nigerian Space Agency? My answer is yes. To date, the Nigerian Space Agency has launched over 5 satellites in the orbit. It's a big deal because most other African agencies, some haven't even launched 1 satellite, but Nigeria has launched about 6, 7, okay, since inception. So I think after this meeting, I will have to speak to the media department in my office to say, you know what, we are not doing so well in terms of publicity and letting people know about the agency, because we are in Abuja, the headquarters is in Abuja, and we have centers in all the geopolitical zones. So it's not like, for example, Lagos, we have a center in Epe, which is Center for Satellite Transportation and Propulsion. We have a center in Enugu, which is Center for Basic Space and Atmospheric Science. We have centers in Kano, we have centers in Kogi, we have centers in Ile-Ife, we have centers, so there's no reason why the agency shouldn't be known. So I think that has to do with lack of publicity, if I may say.
All right. Thank you very much for that wonderful expose. Awareness is always a problem, and probably this is also why we're doing this. And somebody is seated there, as you can see in Benicity window in America. You can see some of the young folks who are seated, and some of them may be thinking within them, how can I be like you, work in such a sector? So before we start talking about career opportunities that are available in the industry, are there different sectors in the space industry? What are they, if there are?
Okay, so first, let me say that the space sector is one of the most exciting sectors in the world. And the reason is that the space sector is multidisciplinary. What it means is that anybody and everybody can work in the space industry. When I say this, people are like, oh, no, but I'm not a scientist, I'm not an engineer, I'm not a satellite engineer, I'm not a communications engineer, but you can work in the space industry irrespective of whatever your background is. Okay, so let me tell you how. Let's start from going to space. For example, you want to send an astronaut to space. Most of the time, the only people we get to hear about are the astronauts, because they're like the technical people, they are the people that carry out the experiments that are happening in space. But beyond them, you have people in the arts. When I say art, I mean artists, because most of the designs that you use in space industry, that they need an artist's impression of what this is. For example, you're sending a rover to the moon and all of that. Those are the very basic place you start from. Also, you have people in journalism, that people that report what the astronauts are doing. You have people in law. There is space law. In fact, space law is really big, because right now, unlike when the human space exploration started over 60 years ago, there people didn't really know so much. And then there are some of the issues that we have to contend with right now that were not present then, so who owns the space? Who owns the moon? Who can lay claim to, now we know that there are so many mineral resources that the space, the moon, the asteroids, the meteorite, they are so rich in minerals that now countries are trying to go and mine and all of that. And so there are so many legal issues that are coming up, in recent years. So space law, there is space law. So now if someone is a lawyer, I says, oh, I'm not a technical person, so I can't possibly work in the space industry. No, you're wrong. You can. Okay. So are you a biologist? Are you an agriculturist? Because there is a big aspect of space industry, which is the application aspect. And so that means the people, the engineers, they are going there to space, they are carrying out experiments, we are sending satellites to space, we have all sorts of satellite, communication satellites, Earth observation satellite, and all of that, meteorological satellite. But then you have the applications whereby you need people who are going to apply those things that the product, the new product that you're getting to bring from all of your researches. So there's the application aspect. So you have geographers, you have geographic information system experts, you have aeronautics, people in aeronautics, people in space physics, space weather, it's just so much. So what I always tell people is that because Nigeria, like I already said, the space sector is not so popular. And then also the problem we have is that there are not many universities that offer space specific courses, like say astronomy, astrophysics, space engineering, satellite systems, So what we have are regular courses in the university, engineering, physics, and all of that. But what it means also is that people with those kind of background are actually also able to work in the space industry. So let me recap. Irrespective of whatever your background is, you have a space in the space industry.
Interesting. Interesting. For those of us who are listening, we'll begin to take questions from you after this next question. Stephanie, are you there? All right, let me take the next question. Okay, she's there. Unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, this has been so educative. Thank you so much for sharing, Olayinka, and very eye-opening as well. I hope, people are taking notes. Like she mentioned, you can, any career from any degree, you can definitely get into the space industry in Nigeria. And yeah, thank you for enlightening us to tell us that we need to do more in publicizing what you do. A lot of people out there really need to know that the space industry in Nigeria is active, is working, and they're doing a lot of work. I mean, launching how many satellites, that's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. So my next question to you would be, so you've shared the different sectors that we have in the space industry, right? Different sectors that young people can get into and that they can work in and function in. I think you mentioned a bit of the career opportunities available, but if you could just shed more light on, like, what are the career opportunities, excuse me, available in the space industry, or what are the types of jobs, that people can aim to get, if they plan to work in the space industry. So what technical roles or non-technical roles can they function in? And tying this question into that, since we're talking about career, how much time is required to start a career in this, industry?
Okay, so thank you very much for your question. The space industry, the world over, is a very, would it be right to say, fertile ground, so to speak, because like we have agreed, relatively new. Well, if you take away US and Russia and China, every other country, most of the other countries are, newly in the space industry. So there's that opportunity. There's so many opportunities. So first, I want to start with engineering. So we have a lot of engineering roles in the space industry, whether it's electrical or electronics, communications, or mechanical, even civil, aeronautical. There are so many opportunities in the engineering field in the space industry. And also we have the application roles. There are a lot of those. When we're talking about applications, application could be from anything from remote sensing. So that would mean computing background, whether it's computer science. I have a computer science background, whether it's computer science, whether it's geography, whether it's, just name it. And then you have the data aspect, because in the space industry is, I think it's arguably one of the industries that generate the most data. How do I mean? When you have satellite in the orbit, for example, you have an Earth observation satellite. An Earth observation satellite is literally like having a camera in space. And then you imagine you have a camera that takes pictures every second, every microsecond, takes pictures, takes sand, an average satellite data is so big that now we have gone beyond, you can't use your regular 3 terabyte, 5 terabyte kind of system to process those images and data. So if you are interested in data analytics and all of those, then the space industry is one great place you can be in. And like we all know, with data, you don't have to necessarily have a background in, you know, maybe say a first degree in data analytics or something like that, or data science. No, these are skills you can pick up at your postgraduate, you know, levels. So data science, you know, they are welcome in the space industry. Also, we have the people who are into design. Okay, I think that's also a bit of engineering. If you're into design, you have satellite design, you have even the vehicle that take people or satellite to space. That's your rocket. You have rocket engineering, and in rocket engineering, it has all manner of engineering: electronics, electrical, communications. I don't remember all of this. There are so many. Just imagine any sort of engineering field that you know, they work on the rocket. So I would say that for technical bit of the space industry, almost anybody can work there. Okay, so I have colleagues whose backgrounds are in geology, mathematics, statistics, you know, just name it. Whatever it is that is your background as a technical person, you have a place in space. And now if I come to the non-technical roles, they also abound, because like we have seen from my discussion today, there's a lot of awareness that needs to go, you know, on for people to even know, okay, there is space industry, there's, you know, this and that. So I would say people with mass communication background, I really don't know those arts courses, but basically I'm saying that even as a non-technical person, you have a lot of roles that you can fit in the space industry. So the space industry is what I call an all-comer kind of industry. It's an industry that does not discriminate. So whatever it is that is your background, whether it's medicine, you know, we have telemedicine. So telemedicine basically is doctors having to treat patients remotely. So that falls under remote sensing. So that means as a medical doctor, you could work in a telemedicine you know, sector in the space industry. So just name it. I really don't know. Even political science. There are a lot of policy issues going on around the space industry world over. So you also have a place. So just it's like an all-comer kind of industry. It's the best, if you ask me. It's an industry that does not discriminate. It's an industry that you can learn on the job, even if you don't have the technical expertise particularly required. You can have the expertise at a postgraduate levels, you know. So it's really a great place to be.
At least from the way you are saying it, is as if some of us who have not been in, we are missing a lot. And for those of us who are listening, I hope you've been able to pick out that there are opportunities in this industry. And if you have any question, like I said, you can begin to raise your hand and we shall recognize you. Let me quickly ask this question. I have 5 credits at high school level. Take me on a journey on how I can get to start a profession in this industry. Then we move on to Enugu after that, and then Calabar, and then Benin City. So please answer that question. Then Stephanie will help us take all the questions that people are raising their hands.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Itair. Okay, so you have 5 credits. You want to, you know, the good thing about people that want to join the space industry right now is that they have an edge. Unlike when I came to the industry, when I came to the agency, I remember that one of the things that that was really strange to me was when I took a statistics of the people that worked in the space agency at that time, I'm talking about 15 years ago, I found out that 99%, and I'm not exaggerating, 99% of the people got to be in the space agency by accident. It wasn't designed. None of them left high school to say, I want to work in the space industry. No, they just, oh, I'm looking for a job. And I heard someone tell that I was looking for a job, and I had an uncle who says, oh, can you work in the space? Do you like the space industry? And you're like, oh, yeah, it sounds cool. Okay. So you go and write the exam and get, So, but part of what we are doing right now, part of what the agency is doing, and part of what my NGO, which is a STEM NGO, is doing is we are trying to raise the next generation of space scientists, space engineers, space, experts who are deliberate, who are intentional, like you are coming up. We have a lot of programs we do with high school kids. And part of what we try to do with them is we want them to come to the space industry on purpose. That is something that is lacking with African space industry, unlike what you have in the West. You have kids. I have a lot of colleagues at NASA or JAXA or JPL or SANSA or all of those places who they actually set out to work in the space industry. And then because of the way their educational system is, they have schools that offer courses that are designed, courses specifically designed for the industry. But unfortunately, because we are in Nigeria, we don't have such opportunities. In fact, I'm not sure that, I think there's only one university that have a course in aeronautic or something like that, or aerospace engineering. So what happens? You have a 5 credit result, and then you want to work in the space industry. Fine. You have to decide what aspect of space. Now you have the opportunity, unlike me, I didn't have that opportunity. I had gone to study my computer science before I came in. So now you have the opportunity to decide, do you want the applications, or do you want the engineering, or you want the law, or you want the, journalism, or whatever it is. So that's what will determine what you're going to do with the 5 credits. So let's say someone has a technical, you have flair for technical field. So you could, with your 5 credit, you could go into engineering, you could go into the science. And when I'm talking science, computer science, mathematics, chemistry, biology, just name it, okay? And then you have your first degree, which is like the basic thing you need. With your first degree, you come into the space industry, you come to the space agency, and then your background with that, what you've done with your first degree will determine what department, what unit, what division you're going to be placed in. And from there, you can grow to whatever level you want. You can go ahead to specialize. We have the health science department in my office, which basically are people with biology, microbiology, cell biology, those kind of people. And what do they do? Because part of what the space industry is about is trying to learn about life in outer space. So when you're talking life in outer space, it's not engineering people, it's not engineers that are going to do that. They have to be, scientists, maybe biologists, and biochemists.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Over to you, Stephanie.
All right, thank you very much, Olayinka. It's so obvious that you're very passionate about this field with the wealth of information that you've given us today. We are so appreciative of you. Thank you very much. So quickly, I will go back to a Enugu window. I can see them. I'll go in according to how I can see you on my screen. Enugu window first. Please unmute yourself and ask your question. Then we'll go to Calabar and, of course, Benin City. So Enugu, can you please go ahead and unmute yourself and right away, just your name and your question. All right, let's take Enugu.
Good morning, ma.
Yeah, good morning.
My name is Sandra. from Enugu. My question is this, as a young school leaver, is there anything I can do privately on my own to contribute to the space industry, or must I necessarily work in the space industry before I can make an impact, like contribute to the space sector? Thank you.
Okay, so should I answer after every question, right? I take every question as it comes. Okay, great.
Yes.
So thank you very much, Sandra. In fact, I was going to come to that to say the space industry as big as it's supposed to be, unfortunately in Nigeria, and as with most African countries, the biggest and sometimes the only employer in the space industry is the government, which is totally wrong. So in the US, for example, you have NASA, which is government, you have JPL, you have all of their and all of that. But then in places such as Nigeria, so in the West, United States, Russia, Germany, you have private sectors who are very active in the space industry, right? But in Nigeria, we don't have that. The major employer of labor in the space industry is the government in Nigeria. So what that means is that if I don't work in the Nigerian Space the Nigerian Space Agency or any of its almost 10 or 15 centers, and I want to be in the space industry, does it mean I don't have a chance? The answer is no. You do have decided to, you know what, there are needs gaps all over. You know, if you look at the US, you look at Nigeria, you see that the gap is wide. So okay, maybe that's more like a bit of capital intensive, but let's just take that for example, the unmanned aerial vehicle sector. There are a lot of people now who are into drones and all of those stuff. Many of them don't work for the Nigerian Space Agency. And the agency actually collaborates with some of them because they have this expertise. And so they do a lot of mappings and all of that. So I would say, as a fresh school leaver who is not opportune to be working with the Nigerian Space Agency, you should be able to start something on your own. The first thing you want to do is that you want to go online and look at the free, there are a lot of free courses on LinkedIn, for example, that can position you, for example, to be a force to be reckoned with in the state data sector of the space industry. By the time you're doing that, you don't need the space agency, you know, to be in the space sector. No. Also, there are a lot of people that develop apps. There are a lot of, you know, app developers who are not working with the Nigerian Space Agency. You can do that. You know, there are a lot of, basically everything I've mentioned as per Nigerian Space Agency. There are things that individuals and private organizations can also be a part of.
Okay.
You are muted, Stephanie.
Yes. All right. So sorry, I was just talking away. I mean, so many information that I've received today. And I wanted to just say this, that, you know, I read in your bio that you have an organization that, you know, helps to develop school extracurricular that drives STEM education. So doing STEM and astronomy clubs. So I was going to ask, is it a good idea for you to set up maybe these clubs in maybe some of our American spaces? I personally am interested.
Sorry, I didn't, is it what?
Is it possible?
Sorry, okay.
Is it possible to set up some of your club at some of our American space locations? So just drive awareness about, you know, space industry and what you do. I personally am interested for Ikeja to have this STEM club here. So kind of like a training or a session to just help us and guide us on what we can do to, have students come and, get involved in some of these things. I just wanted to mention that, by the way. That's not a question, it's just a suggestion. But we can talk about it offline. Yeah, I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah,
so
sure, please, let me hear, yeah.
Okay, so let's take Calabar's question and then we'll take Dr. Georgina.
Thank you very much. My name is John from Calabar.
And please, you need to speak up, Calabar. We can't hear you. You need to get closer to the mic.
Okay, my name is John from Calabar, and I'm having just 2 questions. Number one, okay, she admitted the fact that in terms of publicity, they are not doing well. So I'd like to ask that, what are they doing to make sure that courses on space studies are brought into Nigerian universities? Because a lot of people don't know about it. If they can do something, maybe talk with the NUC or so to make sure that astronomy and everything related to space industry is brought into Nigeria. Then number 2 question is, okay, she said in Africa, Nigeria is leading in space studies or in the industry. And SpaceX director, that's in the person of Elon Musk, he has said he was certain that in December 1st, that will be on a Tuesday, 2026, that the first Martian vehicle, that's the first space vehicle will be landing on Mars, and then they'll be relocating to Mars. So my question is this: Nigeria or Africa as a whole, what's our part? What are they doing to make sure that as these people are going there, would it just be the white alone that will be in Mars? Are Africans doing something to make sure that there's a mixed race, not just them getting there and they're all white in Mars? No African is going to stay there with them. So since they are the leader in Africa, so what are they doing about it? Those are my questions.
Okay, thank you very much, John. You've asked really, really interesting questions here. And so let me start from your first question about curriculum and university curriculum for space science. So unfortunately, now we are all Nigerians. There seem to be a lot of bureaucracies surrounding the curricular development, for example. So if I want to say, so let me say first that the Space Agency, the Nigerian Space Agency, is working hard to get a lot of courses and MOUs, to universities in Nigeria. In fact, I know that last year alone, we had about more than 5 MOUs with universities. But the thing is that it's easier at the postgraduate level than at the undergraduate level. So now at the postgraduate level, you have, in fact, UNILAG is one of them. We have a lot of universities that have now started programs in space engineering, space applications, and all of that. But because it's easier to do that at the postgraduate level, which, so that's what I think that's where they started from, which in my opinion, I think it should have been the bottom of approach. But because there was so much delay going on, so they felt, okay, so why don't we start from the, pick the low-hanging fruit first, so which was what they did. So yes, it's an ongoing discussion. It's my office is constantly in collaboration with NUC, because they also have seen that you can't be lagging behind, especially when you started the space agency first in Africa, and now your students are not even able to go to the university to study space related courses. So that is actually ongoing, and later I can actually get us the list of universities that the agency, the space agency in Nigeria has collaborated with at the postgraduate level. I think a few at the undergraduate level. So I'm sure in a matter of a few years, we will actually have a number of schools taking courses in aerospace engineering in first degree, or space physics. In fact, space physics, we have space physics, astrophysics, astronomy. Yeah, I know University of Nigeria, Nsukka, as that and all of that. Yeah. So yes, we are doing a lot of things about that. And also, like you said, the awareness is being so poor. We're also working on that, and we hope that we just get better with time. Okay, so going to Mars and all of that. So I remember in 2019, before the lockdown, I was in Brussels, and then at the event we had an astronaut who was talking to us about his experience in space and all of that. And then I remember I had taken some high school kids from Nigeria for an exchange program. And so meeting with the astronaut was one of the things we did. And I remember one of the students asking him the same question you asked, maybe framed in another way, like, okay, so are you guys going to leave us behind in Africa, knowing that we would not be able to? And the thing is that space industry, the space program is probably the most capital intensive kind of sector you can think of. To send one astronaut to space, it costs millions of dollars. So in terms of resources, it's obvious that we are at a disadvantage. We can't even deny that we are already at. By the way, Elon Musk is from South Africa originally, so he's African. So we know that we are at a disadvantage. There's no missing words about that. But the good thing is that because of different organizations and different committees that are in place that regulate the space industry worldwide, like CUPU's Committee on the Peaceful Uses of Outer Space and the likes of them. It's such that when this eventually happen, and I'm not sure it's going to be, nobody's going to, okay, first, let me say nobody's going to relocate to Mars in 10 or, okay. They can, maybe a few people, but then we have organizations, even NASA and all of them, are trying so much to preserve what we have on Earth. Because as much as these discussions and researches are going on, we still don't know how habitable that place is going to be. So you can't throw away your Earth because now you think, oh, you want to go to the, then where are we going to get our resources to take everyone? So what some people have said is that, okay, maybe they are just going to pick the best people, or they will, like all those movies suggest. But then I don't think we should fear about that, because if you go to NASA, for example, I was in NASA last October, and I was shocked to see the number of Black people that work in NASA. So it's a global village. Maybe those of us here might not be a part of what these people are doing in NASA, but trust me, you have as many Black people as you can imagine that work with Elon Musk and all of these people. So what that also means is that because we know that it's not going to be possible to relocate the whole of the Earth to Mars, that is never going to happen. It's never going to happen, and so we don't have to spread that fear of, so what happens when they leave us behind? No. We're going to keep working to preserve the Earth that we have. And then we let the people that do this experiment, that are carrying out this research, they keep going, and then whatever they discover, whatever they have done that will be beneficial to the people on Earth, they are not going to keep it back from us. Okay.
We want to make you to make your answers very short now, because we are running.
Okay.
We've run out of time already.
Oh, so sorry about
so
that.
Dr. Georgina and Nelly, I just give you 1 second to ask your question together.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, sir. Good morning, Olayinka.
No. Dr. Okay, Dr. Rifeta, are you the one talking?
Yes, I'm the one talking.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, good morning, Olayinka Fagbenro. I think the session has been very exciting, interesting. Before now, relatively, I have very little information about the space industry. So I'm glad that I've been, okay, sir, I've been informed. I like the fact that the agency or the organization is multidisciplinary. But I was just wondering, are you saying that no matter the profession you belong to, you can be trained to be a space expert, especially the actual experts that go to the moon? And I also wanted to know whether there are age brackets so that our youths can actually know when they should begin to work towards getting into the space industry. My focus is the actual experts that go into the moon, that go into the space. What are their age brackets for them? What do they need to do to be able to be part of the experts that can get to the moon? Thank you.
Okay, so very short. Very short is that there is no age limit. In fact, there's an astronaut that is coming to Nigeria very soon. We are working on that. She went to space at 51. Her name is Sean Protop. So I don't know if anybody has said about her. She's the first Black woman to pilot a spacecraft. So yeah, no age limit. And then as per the expertise required, I would say that any technical background, first degree, you can actually be trained to go to space. In the past, it used to take years and years of training, but now, of course, we now know it's been shortened. So
thank you very much.
Less than in a few
Nelly,
years.
Helen, over to you quickly.
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity
Straight to the question.
Discussion. Okay, sure thing. Yes, so a few years ago, we organized the first space science and astronomy competition in Cross River State in collaboration with the America Corner. We're very inspired. I and my team went for a competition at NASA, and so we started this foundation focused on capacity building in space, and we started in Calabar. So far, we've hosted about 3 space-related programs, but we're still having issues with collaboration, like in terms of other organizations that are.
So what's the question?
Okay, the question is, how do we get in touch with
Get my email and let's collaborate.
Yes, how do we get in touch?
Let me put my email. I'll just put my email here so that when you have, if you have any other question, yes.
Yes, so how do we get in touch to promote space education like in Calabar? Yes, that'd be great. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
I'm putting my email for everyone to see. Oh, sorry, Gmail.
All right, Ede, Hude is next.
Okay, my question is, I'm aware the Nigerian Space Agency, they've launched a number of satellites, but we heard they were launched in China and all that. Have we, as a country, actually started doing anything, or we just still pay people to do things for us?
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, with all the satellites Nigerian has launched, have been launched on foreign soil because we are here to develop the capability to launch from the home soil. The Nigerian Space Agency is working seriously on that, and that is what the EPES Center is for. The EPES Center is Center for Satellite Transport and Propulsion, and we're looking like in the next few years, they should be able to launch from Nigeria. You know, these things require a lot of money that the Nigerian government does not even have. So that's why.
All right, I wanted you to talk about tech women because you said you participated in tech women. So because this is also an opportunity for people to gain experience, exposure, expand your network. You had your own 2020, 2021. So how was the experience like, and how did that impact what you are doing now? Very brief. Okay,
so let me say we were the COVID cohort, so we couldn't travel as a group to the US because of COVID. But I was fortunate, I was one of the few people that were fortunate to be able to travel as individuals to get internship at organizations in the United States. So I was at the AUI office in Washington, DC. AUI is Associated Universities Incorporated, and I had my 5 weeks of internship there. They are basically into STEM, all manner of STEM, from astronomy to green energy to cybersecurity and all of that. Yeah, so the experience was wonderful, and then it has really helped me in my career, and I was able to develop some sort of collaboration and network that still keeps expanding even every day.
Great. So for those who are hearing, Nelly and the co, you also could take advantage of this opportunity Tech Women is a program that runs on a yearly basis. You can take advantage of this. We would like to start winding down. And in winding down, we would like to begin to give you some announcement before we say a big thank you to our resource person today. As you all know, today is the last Monday of the month. And every last Monday of the month, we host this seminar. Please, if you know you want to learn about various career opportunities, please, this is the place to be. Secondly, you will have recordings of all our programs on the American Spaces NG Facebook page. All you need to do is just to facebook.com/American Spaces NG. We also run Speak with a Diplomat last Thursday of every month. So this Thursday, we're hosting a very important officer, an American officer. You can also benefit greatly from our discussion. She'll be talking about public diplomacy, which is very, very interesting. It's an area you need to know what we are doing. Then, of course, we have Education USA in Calabar right there seated with the gentleman there is our education advisor. She's waving her hand. We have Education USA every Wednesday of the week. And you are able to learn the 5 steps on how to study in the USA free of charge. Aside from that, we also have a wonderful program called Conversation with an Alum. This program x-rays those who have traveled, like Olayinka Fagbenro, who has gone on our program, including Tech Women, Fulbright, and so on and so forth, and are willing to share their experiences to you. So I encourage you, everyone, to please take advantage of these opportunities. Tell others, all this we're doing is for you, and it's not just something that we want to do for the sake of it. Till next week, I want to thank Fagbemiro, Olayinka. Incidentally, we have somebody whose name is closer to your own as our director in Abeokuta, and they're also on this call. His own is Olagbemiro, while your own is Fagbemiro. So that's why you see me just making that mistake. So we want to thank you very much. And for all our directors, we thank you. Stephanie, thank you very much. And please, we're going to be moving gradually to a platform, which we'll talk about in a meeting in the next 30 minutes. So see you there. So Fagbemiro, Olayinka, could you give us your parting shot, please?
So thank you very much for this opportunity. It's really nice talking to all these great people here. And I'm happy that I'm able to create a little bit of awareness about Nigerian Space Agency and the space industry in Nigeria. And then I want to say, like I said, it's a big industry, it's a multidisciplinary industry. So anybody with interest is welcome. And if you need to ask any specific questions, I put my email, and also you can check out our NGO, AWB Nigeria. And I hope to hear from everyone soon.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful day. And bye-bye to you. Bye,
thank
everybody.
You. Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Bye, Benin City. Bye, Port Harcourt. Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Enugu. Bye. Bye.